So Brandon, you're here to talk about investment management and how asset managers and wealth managers make a good impression when they're hiring investment managers.
Yes, so the overall point is about ensuring that the process for interviewing is a positive one for the candidate and leaves them feeling good about your company as a whole. As we know, that investment management is a small world, and whether or not that particular candidate ends up getting the job, they are likely to at least tell their friends and colleagues about the process, or worse still, they might even tell your competitors about how the process was when they went through it with you. There's also a wider point about if you treat them with respect, even if they don't end up getting the job, they're more likely to become an advocate for your company and refer people onto you in the future. Whereas on the contrary, if they don't feel positive about the process they went through with you, they could, in today's day and age, they could take those feelings onto social media, which can damage your reputation greatly.
Wow, yeah, that could be really serious, couldn't it?
Yeah.
So Brandon, you've got a few pointers. What's the first point?
So the first point is about first impressions and how important they are for the candidate, as well as we all know how important it is for candidates to make a good first impression. But from a candidate's point of view, it's also very important that your company as a whole makes a good first impression. So the point in question is about making sure that all like receptionists or people that you know are going to meet with the candidate when they come for interview are correctly briefed on who the candidate is, what time they're going to be coming, and who they're meant to be meeting with. As the last thing you want, which is a situation we've been involved in before, is a candidate turning up to the company and the receptionist essentially wasn't expecting them because the hiring manager, there'd been a bit of a lapse in communications. This resulted in the candidate being sat downstairs in the main reception area rather than being directed up to the relevant area. And although this all panned out in the end and was okay and the meeting was a good one, when I did get the feedback from the candidate, this initial first impression wasn't the best, and maybe thought that there could be communication issues going forwards as well.
So embarrassment all round, really.
Yeah.
Okay, and your next point?
So the next point is about ensuring that although the interview process has to be fair and consistent for everyone, it's about showing to the candidate that you do have a genuine interest in them as an individual. And this can display itself by ensuring you have the right CV in front of you, and the relevant documentation, but also
Sorry, I'll cut that bit there. Can we just go back, because I said do the CV at the end, because otherwise, yeah. So say about documentation, the right stuff, but if you start off by saying have the right CV, it sort of looks like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. So the whole thing is, Okay. So Brandon, your first point I know is about, sorry, what is the heading?
So that's the next bit now, the tailoring the interview.
Yeah, we haven't finished the first one, have we?
We've just, that was the first
okay.
First impression.
Right, so
that's, sorry. So this
can you see, is that alright?
It's going to be in that shot.
So after first impressions, Brandon, I know you want to talk about what happens once you get into the interview, don't you?
Yeah, so when you're in the interview, it's important to ensure that you, although you adopt a fair and consistent approach to each individual in terms of your questioning, you do also need to make sure you can tailor the interview as well to show you do have a genuine interest in the person as an individual and their individual successes as well.
And how do you do that?
So you need to ensure that you have all the relevant documentation which highlights what they're experienced in, where they've been, and also any key sort of successes they've had.
So that'd be a CV and
could be a CV, could be any sort of videos that you know that they've appeared in, and testimonials are a really good one as well, because testimonials are a really good way for you to build rapport with the candidate as well, as it also obviously reinforces to them that they've done a really good job, but also shows that you've done your due diligence on them as well. And then the last point is just about ensuring that you do have the CV in front of you for the interview, and that you have pre-read it. I know you'd have obviously pre-read it before deciding whether to interview them or not, but it's also worth just pre-reading it 5-10 minutes before the candidate comes in, just so it's at the top of your mind, so that you can show that you have shown a genuine interest in them.
So I suppose from that you've got the benefit that you on the one hand you can use the general questions for each candidate to treat them fairly, but on the other hand you can show some specific questioning which one shows interest in the candidate and two helps the candidate feel they can show themselves at their best.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I think you've got a final point as well, haven't you?
Yeah, so the final point is it's a bit more of a general one again, but it's all about making the candidate realise that they've been respected and valued as an individual, and this is about just ensuring that you're punctual, which means turning up on time, as obviously the candidate is expected to do this. But the last thing candidates want, and we've experienced this before as well, is to be, say they have an interview starting at 10 o'clock and they turn up in good time, 10:45, 20 to 10, to be then left waiting in the reception area until 10:15. So if the hiring manager leaves the candidate waiting until 15 or so minutes after the interview starts, it just doesn't get the interview off to the best possible start. And
it doesn't show great respect, does it? So yeah, I totally understand that.
It links back to the first point about first impressions counting as well. And that could often be if the candidate feels a bit put out by the fact that their time hasn't been respected. So obviously these are all busy individuals. It just doesn't give them the best first impression, doesn't make them feel like they're being valued as an individual, let alone as a candidate.
Thanks. Do you want to play that back and then we'll see if we need